Today I will share with you some thoughts on the philosophy of science. This is a slightly dry subject. There are certain conclusions that I think are of general relevance. I am very much a follower of the late philosopher Karl Popper and the late Nobel laureate Richard Feynman when they say that the chief criterion in the demarcation between science and the other human pursuits is that in science you can make statements that are capable of being disproved empirically by observations or experiments. Usually, a theory makes a general statement, but as Popper insists, you can't infer a general statement from any number of instances of observations. For example, if you observe, as Newton did, that apples fall, you cannot logically infer from this that any apple, when you release it, will drop. This is because the theoretical statement applies to all the apples, past, present, and future. And you certainly don't know how future apples will behave. It could be that in future somebody breeds an apple so light that it rises when you release it. And that would disprove this theory. So you cannot make conclusions from the particular to the general. But you can always shoot down a general statement by the particular. We know that the history of science is filled with disproved theories. But then, you cannot perform all the experiments that a theory can possibly talk about. And therefore, you cannot prove it. It is only if you can be wrong that you can say anything worth saying. I repeat, it is only if you can be wrong that you can say anything worth saying. If I tell you tomorrow will be a warm or cold, sunny or cloudy, windy or calm, wet or dry, you cannot disprove me whatever weather comes tomorrow. But then I haven't told you anything. I tell you something valuable only if I may turn out to be wrong. And this ability to be wrong is the hallmark of a scientist. Richard Feynman considers this as a value of science. According to him, scientists have a lot of experience with ignorance and doubt, uncertainty too, and this experience is of great importance. When a scientist doesn't know the answer to the problem, he is ignorant. When he has a hunch as to what the result is, he is uncertain. But when he is pretty sure of what the result is going to be, he is still in some doubt. Feynman says that we have found it of paramount importance that in order to progress, we must recognize our ignorance and leave room for doubt. Scientific knowledge is a body of statements of varying degrees of certainty. Some most unsure, some nearly sure, but none absolutely certain. Feynman says, experimenters search most diligently and with the greatest efforts in exactly those places where it seems most likely that they can prove themselves wrong as quickly as possibly, because only in that way they can find progress. Negation is inevitably preceded by doubt. Doubt is an indispensable component of developing science. It is a prerequisite of scientific knowledge. There is no cognition without questioning, and there is no questioning without doubt. This is not only true for scientists, but also for us, laymen too. Doubt leads to scientific inquiry. A good advantage of a doubting mind is that it is not bound by old theories, but it is flexible and open to new and different ideas. Implicit in this idea is that future tests of theories will be more demanding than present tests, will be more precise, will be more searching, and will be more rigorous. One of the commonest criticisms with which we scientists have to put up is that they change their theories so quickly that they must obviously be worthless. Let me give you an example. Electricity was first thought to be a fluid. Then it was thought to be consisting of particles, and now the particles turn out to behave like a group of waves. Atoms were said to be indivisible, but today they are split in scores of laboratories. A scientific theory may be nothing but the truth, but it is never the whole truth. Scientific theories have a truth-relevant utility. Their function is not to say the truth, but to hope in making of true statements. Scientific theories are always a guide to practice, or at least to prediction. No doubt our present theories will be altered in future, but they are truer because they are nearer to practice. We can be sure that one's theory is incomplete and partly wrong, but at the same time we can be sure that it is near enough to the truth to enable it to do a particular job. So don't worry if scientists change their theories, for it is a healthy sign. Lenin once said, and I quote, "Frankly admitting a mistake, asserting the reasons for it, analyzing the conditions which led to it, and thoroughly discussing the means of correcting it is the earmark of a serious party." I wish to conclude by saying that it is also the earmark of a serious scientist. Thank you. Do let me know your views on this topic that I've discussed here.